years, I got two people I get up, half the time I want to see them. Like I said, you know.
Hey, Matthew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? David? Morning, Tony.
Morning.
How are you doing?
Good, and you? Only so few people. I thought it was only you, Matt.
Yeah, for now. It took a while to log on.
Yeah.
Morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
I'm kind of double duty and then setting up and.
Hey, man, how you doing? Pretty good. Glad to hear you were joining the club.
Yeah, it's been interesting, kind of getting the little satellite club cooking. You know, we got some things going.
Yeah, well, say hey to the Zoomies right there.
Good morning.
Do you have a presentation or you're just talking?
I think I don't have a presentation.
Okay.
She said, "Come do your little member talk."
Okay. I think that's good, and I appreciate that because that's less work. Yeah. No powerful. How's it going, man?
Hey, Buster. You been fishing lately?
No, it's very sad.
Well, I'm down here now and it's raining all day. And hopefully tomorrow we'll give it a go and see if there's any trout or some reds swimming around.
Huh? Where are you?
Basically across the river from Oriental, near Beaufort.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really sad. I set this goal that I was going to fish once a week.
Not anymore. There was a day.
And it hadn't worked very well.
Well, don't give up.
I know.
So Brad, the question, I don't know if it was posted or not, but normally this starts at dark, so get somebody to do it quarterly, or as long as they're really a volunteer. Okay. So I guess that's the big question, is how long, so she was pretty much eating a lot, she took about 3 months total, but she moved away. She would have been I can do it until $350 in here, man.
So Matthew, have you ever used one of these tying tools?
No.
Have you ever seen that?
Is that for fly tying?
Well, this is it's to tie your hook on. And so you put your hook like as a little, no, it goes this way. The hook goes the other way. And you tighten it up with this thumb screw. And then you take your line, and I haven't gotten it to work yet. But it's supposed to, especially when you get old like me, and especially like really fine lines. And so you just feed the line through, and then it's got this little gizmo up here that sort of, you can, they show you how to do it on YouTube, but I haven't haven't perfected. Then I bought this other one, this other little tying tool that it's sort of, you know, how to snell a hook. Have you ever done that?
Uh-uh.
Instead of tying a fisherman's knot, you know, just that basic knot to tie the hook on, it really makes a better presentation for the hook.
Mm-hmm.
But to do it, most of the time you have to do it before you tie. I don't know. It doesn't work once the line's already on the reel, but it's a pretty cool little, like if you're tying a rig, it works because your line isn't attached to your reel.
That makes.
Then you just,
Where did you get the?
oh, I just ordered it.
Yeah.
Then you just wrap it like that. And you feed it back through the back. And what it does, it makes the hook sort of straight as opposed to, but it's a great knot. It'll hold, you know, if you can do it before you, like when you're tying up like a Carolina rig, and it just, I mean, I don't know if you can see that.
No, I can't do that.
Anyway, it makes the hook. There it is. Anyway, so I'm going to try to figure out how to use it. I watched the guy do it on YouTube, and it was, I mean, he could do it really fast. He could just,
Yeah.
you know, actually you put it in there and then you spin this thing, and then anyway, it's anything to make things easier. And I don't know how to work this one yet.
Well, you got time.
Shoot, man, I'm doing real estate deals.
They're happening.
You know, they really are. I got one really, really nice one, you know, that if it goes through, it would be really nice. But
Good.
we'll see. You know, people are so funny. They're just, it's like I learned in the warehousing business. People are so emotional. You know, you think that a business decision is just this all about the cold, hard facts and the numbers, but every business decision has got tons of emotion in it.
Yeah. Well, it's even worse for residential properties.
What's that?
It's even worse for residential.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. I mean, then you know, then you've got, yeah. Oh well, yeah. I'm really glad I don't do residential, although residential is just red hot. I think there's got to be a bubble somewhere in this whole thing.
Well, I think the cost of lumber is getting ready to pop that bubble. But if anything, it's just going to make it go up. But I don't know. It's just amazing to me that when I was building apartments, I was paying $4 or $5 for a piece of OSB. And now they're, I mean, granted, at Lowe's, they're like $34, but still, I'm sure bulk rates are probably, you know, just low 30s.
Wow.
And it's just, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Who would want to build?
And you know, in my neighborhood, it's so funny. These houses, you know, they're 2,500 square feet. Somebody comes in, pays 300,000 or so, put some money into them. They're selling for 500,000. 2,400 square feet. I mean, almost as fast as they get on the market.
Yeah.
And more than 500,000. It's, you know, depending on what the people do. And oh man, it's crazy. Yeah. But I didn't realize it. I knew lumber had gone up, but I didn't know that much.
Oh yeah. I mean, now that is spread over about, I guess, about 10, 15 years since I've been building, but yeah, that's a lot.
Good gracious. Oh well.
interesting being on this side. I tell you what, y'all aren't really missing much in food department at the breakfasts.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy going, and it's great that they host us, but it's no Henry, that's for sure.
Well, I've for the most part decided I'm going to come back in May. I mean, I'm fully vaccinated, but I don't know. There's just not enough masks on at those meetings.
Yeah.
After it's over, and I mean, after people have eaten, I totally understand. You're not going to do it when you eat, but people are awfully close together. They're I'm just gonna wait another month and see how it goes.
We dumb decision. It was 78 yesterday, so we decided to go into Beaufort instead of take the boat out to the beach. That's a different story. But Marley went into a retail shop for the first time in over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought my credit card was going to have a heart attack. It was amazing. I looked over and she had probably easily a dozen hangers in her hand. And I just told Charlotte, I said, I'll be outside. I can't do this anymore. It was something.
It'll be interesting to see what happens once everybody starts feeling comfortable, and especially, like you said, retail clothing. My gosh, that's something. And everybody's been buying crap. They've been buying TVs and and dishwashers and all this stuff that you can buy online, but man, can't really buy clothes online.
No. Well, not anymore because they're all stuck.
What's that?
So they're all stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. To me, that was the most interesting news story.
Oh, yeah.
The whole Suez Canal and that's interesting. They just basically blasted that thing through the middle of the desert.
Yep.
And it's not that wide, as we found out. And it's about 80 feet deep and
1,000 feet wide.
1,000 feet wide. It said tens of thousands of people died building that thing. And it was built like in the late 1800s.
Wow.
And it doesn't have a lock on it because it's both ends are sea level. It's just crazy.
They apparently were thinking of making it wider, but it was going to cost so much money and delay the canal. They didn't do it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It will take two boats passing each other, but they got to be very, very careful.
Did you see what the ship was doing prior to entering the Suez Canal? You should Google it. It's not really appropriate to discuss in this group, but just look up. I'm sure you just Google the Ever Given X-rated Suez Canal, and they were drawing something with their plotter in the bay.
I did see that. I did see that. I thought that was a mistake. I thought that was
it might have been. It made me smile.
I thought that just was them getting the thing loose. Oh my gosh. I can't even fathom what it requires to be able to drive a boat like that.
No, I can't either. Patience, because whatever it is you do, it's going to take 5 minutes before it happens.
I mean, think about it, just even in a regular boat, you can't just stop it on a dime, and you can't.
I'm surprised they let it into the canal, boat with that much profile, with the winds the way they were forecasting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you
I'm
see
sure
how
they
tall
do.
that thing is? Damn.
Oh, it's big.
Well, I'll tell
My
you
son
guys, this is
sent me
Kelly.
a,
I was, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I was in one of my, what they call on-call duties, which is different from your regular duties in the Navy. You have a kind of coming into port, going out of port duty. I was master helmsman on our ship. And so basically I drove the ship to the captain's orders.
Oh,
And,
cool.
you know, those, we would cut, you know, we were in Charleston, and Charleston, after you get out from underneath the bridge, there's about 7 or 8 really hard turns to get out of the channel without running shore. And they're just marked, you know, you get out of it 60 feet and you're in the mud. And, you know, it's almost, you get a crosswind and you have to run through there under all, not full power, but half power, just to get the boat to turn. And it's nothing short of a miracle. These guys drive these things. I mean, it's almost impossible with wind.
my son sent me a simulator yesterday to drive through the Suez Canal. Have y'all seen that?
Uh-uh.
No.
Oh, it's pretty neat because you have to adjust the power to move it forward and adjust your rudder. And like you say, you've got to start anticipating 5 minutes early where you want to point that rascal.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right. It just doesn't turn. I mean, it's you have to have a lot of power to turn it. And when you're in tight spaces, you know, you make a decision and there's no going back.
Yeah.
You know?
Just back up a little.
I mean, I'm so amazed at people in these, you know, my boat is very small, and you look at these people down the coast, and you know, with these 30+ foot boats, and you know, they just
50.
I mean, you know, a boat 100 feet long, and those people just put them right up to the dock and in between 2 other boats. I don't know. I guess if you did it every day, I'm not a very good boat driver.
You have 2 propellers, it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have bow thrusters. Those bow thrusters on those boats are really what saves them. You couldn't drive a ship that big without bow thrusters.
Hey, guy.
Hey, guy.
Anyway, we'll turn them down. So, yeah, it's good that they're talking. Rick Martin's doing double duty today. He's going to do our invocation to start us off.
Good morning. How's everybody? I'm sitting here with you guys for the Sunset Club, and we've got the sunrise coming in here blessing us this morning. I didn't bet this morning we'll be the Sunrise Club. Just a change, right? Today, for our prayer and pledge, just in a couple of remarks, you know, Rotary is a service club, and one of the things on our badges you used to see all the time, service above self. And it's kind of interesting how we came to that. 1905, when Rotary was formed by and 4 good friends, 3 good friends, 4 of them. They rotated from one office to the next, and each hosting office, they chaired the meeting and that kind of thing. And the first Rotary clubs were encouraged to bring in members of good moral standing, had good business ethics, and they were encouraged to do business among themselves. And it took off really big and it grew, but they got some criticism because they thought, well, this new Rotary group, that service stuff, they're all self-directed. And so in 1911, just 6 years after Rotary got started, that change came about, and they started making it effective that what they really were already doing was service beyond what they were doing business among themselves. And they wanted to make sure it was known, and they wanted to make it known among their members. So it evolved over the years to more and more and more service focused, less business focused among the members. And we have what we have today, service above self. So with that in mind, join me in a prayer and we'll get started this morning. Dear God, we pray that as Rotarians, we would be service-minded, that we would be good moral people and operate our businesses as such and be outstanding in our communities for the kind of upright services that we provide and our involvement in our local neighborhoods as well as the rural neighborhood. We pray that continue, and we thank you. Stand out for the flag. Remember, there's no break between God and our nation under God. It's just our nation under God. There's no comma there, okay? Let's go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah, we did good. Okay, and now for the four-way test. And don't forget, Rotarians, there's 4 things there, and if we're 3 out of 4, we're good to go, right? No, we're not. 4 out of 4. Okay. Number 1 of the things we say and do is to prove it, is to spare all concern, will it build goodwill, better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned. All right,
Thank you, Rick. We're gonna put my cheat sheet in here. So here we go. Brad's gonna do our Sergeant at Arms report, and Brad has volunteered to be our Sergeant at Arms through this last quarter of the Rotary year.
All right, we have 16 members, 10 on Zoom, and then we have 1 guest. Gigi, you have a guest?
Yes, I do. Bridges, my friend and partner, and he came today to help me bring those beautiful baskets, and I promised him a great breakfast with fun company.
1 and 2 in back.
Welcome, John. And you can see Gigi brought our this. So these were pledged for the district conference. Walt did some of the fun thing for this last year, and the money just sat in the hopper waiting for a district conference. So I guess this is all from last year, right?
Yes.
So all the revenue came from last year, so we brought them so everybody could see. Rick, you want to do our birthdays and anniversaries?
Sure. Hey, good morning, Rotary. Back again. We have a few club anniversaries, and I'm going to start calling people and let them know you're going to be recognized today. You really should show up. So, Tony, is Tony Villier on there? No. I didn't spot him there. Okay. Tony says celebrate 5 years of club. Danny Farley. Danny's got 10. Dr. Howell. Oh, I know he's here somewhere. Right here. Right here. Hey, Dr. Paul, you have an anniversary, and you remember how many years it is? 6? Yes, you're right. 6 years. Gee whiz, boy's good with math. I'm glad. 25, Walt. 25 years of service to the club. That's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much. And Judy Brumley. Judy also is celebrating 5. So congratulate him when you see him, and Walt again. 25 years. That is wonderful. We've got a couple of members' birthdays. James Bigrum. Nope. Hey, all right. James had one of the first of the week, and Chris Neal. Nope. This ought to be the roster. I guess the people aren't here today, so
holiday week, Rick. Holiday week, you get a late prize.
That's what it is. We have no anniversaries this week, but Mr. Hassel, we did heads up for anniversaries for the next week. We always try to let our members know so you don't mess up and miss the whole daggone thing. So you got one coming up on the 9th. Yes, sir. They'll say you didn't beat them if you weren't. All right. Mr.
Thank you, Rick.
That is it.
So I have a couple of long announcements here. One, I wanted to, there aren't that many people in the club. I'm going to send this out in an email again, but I'm hoping we get somebody for this district club championship tournament. The dates are May 13th, June 17th, July 15th. And they're all Thursdays. And it's a championship for the district, and it's the best points 3 out of 4 finishes. So you don't have to play in all of them. It's $80 per tournament for the first 3 events, and it includes dinner and prizes. So you really can't beat that as far as if you retire and you can play golf on a Thursday. So if anybody is interested, the deadline is pretty soon. I think they'll probably take all the way up until they fill it. But this, you have to reach out to, do you remember who was heading?
I think it's John Spillman.
John Spillman. I can send you his email if anybody's interested. They have a registration link on DAG-TV. It's under district golf tournament. I think they do a team top golf tournament in the fall as well. So this is something new that they do every year, and it's instead of doing one, they're doing multiple tournaments and then picking a club championship. You actually get a jacket, so it's pretty nice. The other one is district grants. I sent the email this morning, and I just wanted to kind of reiterate it again. This is for grants for next year. We've had district grants where the club matches 50% of the funds, the district matches the other 50% for as long as I've been on the board. I've been on the board for 10 years. So we do not have any applicants for next year. What that means is we have about $4,000 to $5,000 in half the club, half the district funds to give to somebody if they want to go in and file for the grant. So the grant criteria is pretty simple. There are 6 items. I sent them to everybody. It can't be used for the club. The location can be domestic or international. Grant amounts cannot exceed the club contribution. So we're going to probably contribute, we need to work on the budget for next year, but probably about $2,500. They can't be used for personal services, administration expenses, or travel. They can't be used for construction projects or structures where people live, work, or engage in gainful activity, or for storage. There is a reporting process, and you have to do a final report through it. It's not that complicated. Dan Quinn's done it. It can't be that hard, right? So we should be able. I didn't see Dan on there, but I just said it in front of him anyway. So Dan's not doing it. Chris Justice is not doing it. So we need somebody to apply. If you don't apply, we just roll the funds back into past president grants or club grants. So this way we get more bang for our buck. So read the email if you're interested. If anybody on Zoom is interested, they're part of a charity that they want to get some extra money. We'll be happy to help you work through it.
Guy, what is the deadline?
The deadline is May 15th for the application, and then May 15th for the reporting for the following year. So you get a year. You have to take pictures. You have to report. And Gigi's part of the district auditing committee, so they go in and make sure that you do everything correctly and meet all the criteria to be a charitable donation organization, right? So, all right, that's all the club announcements. Or the administrative announcements. We got some club announcements here.
On the fundraiser, I hope everybody got my email about the fundraiser with this was attached. We have a lot of great prizes for the raffle. Bobby did a bunch of work and put all these raffle packets together. If you haven't gotten an envelope yet, even if you sponsor, you can still sell raffle tickets if you want to. Everyone we sell, we can make all the profit off of it because all these prizes were kindly donated. We have 1 month. It's April 1st today. And I heard last night from Tom Sears, and he had a really great fundraiser idea. He said to ask Busker about selling cookies. And maybe we could go out and set up some tables. Rotary has cookies. They're shaped like the wheel. They're more like animal crackers. And we could set up like bell ringing and sit out there and sell some cookies. They said don't bother the Girl Scouts. They do have a sash you can wear, so you may do that. Let me know if you're interested in selling them. But we're meeting with Kelly Harrell, I think this morning, to look at spaces. Satellite Club members are interested in coming, some of them. So we may open it up to some more people. Right now, it's within our club. If it changes, we'll let you know. I hope you'll sponsor, and we'll have a good time, no matter what. We have about 6 committed sponsors, and another 5 or 6 that said they will. They just haven't told me how much.
What are the sponsorship tiers again?
So I'm calling it a patron sponsor. We've always asked our regular members to do at least $300. You can just pay that, or we give you a chance to sell it, so it doesn't come out of your pocket. And then it's $6, $12, and $2,500. The tickets don't change a lot. We're giving more raffle tickets and what we're calling fundraiser tickets, which is a big scavenger hunt you can do downtown. We own the scavenger hunt. We bought it with the idea to do a big scavenger hunt back during pig stock, but because of COVID, we couldn't. So you can get groups of employees and let them compete. It's a lot of fun. Lisa and I did it with Donnell. And you go all over downtown Greensboro. Has places to stop and get a drink, take a picture. It's got a lot of history and the clues. So I'm just giving those people, you can use them however you want. So shoot me an email, let me know if you're sponsoring or if you have any questions. And Gigi's donated one of the baskets as a prize too, so we'll be giving one of those away as well. All right.
Thank you, Tom. So 1 month, guys. We got 4 weeks and a couple of days to raise some money. We need to get on it.
Excuse me, was that selling cookies as a fundraiser?
Yeah, we're selling them at the grocery store.
We were talking about it. So this is not the whole fundraiser, right? He's saying an alternative idea to raise additional funds. So remember the fundraiser, everybody, when you join the club, not for the Sunset Club members, but regular club members, you're committed to raising $300 a year. We don't tell all our new members that, I guess, as explicitly as we should, but $300 a year. If you don't raise the funds, you get billed for the funds, right? That's how we ensure we raise enough money, and we give people ways to raise it, various different avenues. So you can buy tickets to the event, you can sell raffle tickets, you can do it however you want. Does that make sense?
Just ask Buster about the cookies, he'll let you know.
If Buster puts on a brown dress and a sash, I'll buy a lot of cookies.
Right now.
I'll buy 100 boxes of cookies if you wear a brown dress and a sash and sell them all day, Buster.
I heard that.
I'm in.
I heard it.
I'm in.
Hey, Buster, what
Committed.
sauce do you wear?
So, Matthew, I'm going to call on you. Do you have any announcements? Have we lined up any dates for our service project?
I'm still working on it. It's communication back and forth. It's got a large lag time, but just hold on tight. We're going to have some stuff come up, and it's not going to get overlooked.
Matthew, like our fundraiser, we're getting a pretty narrow window till summer here. So if we're gonna do it, we probably need to do it the next month, right?
There's nothing narrow about me, man. I got this.
All right. Always a good sport. Gigi, you have any announcements about our district conference?
Yes, I just want to thank everyone for their generosity. You can see that we have a beautiful basket that we will be bringing. The district conference is on. It will start on Friday. Friday and Saturday, of course, Sunday morning. We have a great dinner planned for Gate City members on Friday evening at 7:30 at the Rendezvous Restaurant in Asheville. And also on Saturday afternoon, we have a couple of fun activities planned. There's a food tour. So we already have quite a few members sign up for that. And we also have self-guided tour of the art district and of Biltmore Garden, which should be in full bloom that weekend. It's their peak weekend of time. So I encourage all of you, if you haven't signed up or registered for this conference, please do so. Join us. It's going to be a great weekend.
Will it be wine on the food tour, JJ?
Well, I think I can manage that. I'll try.
April's
But he
a-
says yes.
April's a great time to be in Asheville. The billboard, if you've never seen it in April, it's incredible. So that's all the club announcements we have. Bob, you want to do our happy dollars?
Happy dollars. Buster, you got any happy dollars?
I have one,
Please.
maybe two. So I want to thank everybody that helped with, I don't know if you remember the Hero Project, was a grant. So our club sponsored or set up a supply room for the resource officers in Greensboro through the Greensboro Police Department. And so a couple of Sunset Club members, Chip and Charlotte and Con Eakin met on a Saturday, and we went to Costco and bought items, and then I delivered them a couple weeks ago to the police department. So they're delighted, and hopefully this is a project that we can sustain over time, and it's not a lot of money involved. So thank you for everybody that participated. And then my second, maybe it's $5.
Where are these
I'll chip in on the Hero Project because that's actually with club grant. District grant money. So,
Right.
And our club does they fund it. So
Yeah.
it's a really good way to put money in our community.
My other comment is I'm just really happy to see Tom and Dale Hopkins and Dave Gray, a couple of folks, and Brad that have been on Zoom for a while. So we're just glad to see you. Glad to have you.
Fourth and First Lieutenant Molly Hassel is back from her 4+ month deployment at Al-Assad Air Force Base in Iraq, and we're glad that she's back stateside. About 2 months left in her active service with the Air Force, and will muster out to captain sometime in June. Wow. So that's fantastic.
I just want to know what size brown dress Buster might wear.
Hang on.
You went and checked
They went to change
You
clothes.
know, he may have one. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna pan out or not. I got Happy Buck here. I got my shots, I got both shots. You guys cough all over me all you want. I don't care. But when I got through, their second shot, they give you a little card and they just sign it on there. And I thought, well, that's it. We don't get we go out to see Dr. Andrus, and I take my little dog Scout out there. He fixes us all up, gives him a shot. We get this cute little tag from Dr. Andrus, says, hey, this guy's vaccinated. I was wanting something like that. And so now I'm finding out we might be going to get something, although it will be an app. Although I was hoping I'd get something like Dr. Andrus gives, I could wear around my neck and say, hey, breathe on me, I don't care. Anyway, I'm holding out. We'll see what happens. All right.
Maybe you didn't have your ratings, but you should
Yeah, that's what it was.
sell
That's it.
More. Well, Grandpappy, when you get to be his age, people pass away, and I saw an obituary the other day, one of his good friends had passed, so I called Grandpappy. I said, you want me to take you to the funeral? And he says, no, I'm not going. I said, well, why not? He said, well, he's not going to mine.
So, were you going to introduce Rob? So we have, our speaker today is Rob Ebner. Rob has agreed to be the chairperson for the Sunset Club next year. He's a new member to the Sunset Club. We haven't done these for most of the members of the Sunset Club, so he's filling in today as our speaker. And Rob, I don't have a bio. I've known Rob for years. He has a son, happily married, been in banking forever. What else can I say, Rob? He'll tell you the rest. Come on up.
Well, good morning. I'll be brief, and hey, David, director, where do you want? Right there is good. Stand up, sit down. Good. Stand up, please. Stand up, please. Just want to give him a little time here. So I just want to thank Lisa, President-elect, and Guy President for letting me come speak to the club and have an opportunity to fellowship and meet the real club. It's the satellite club. We're growing. I think we currently have 21 members, and very excited to hopefully bring on Mary O'Keefe as just my sort of new member. So it's I'll talk a little bit about the vision that I see as the chair-elect. I will want to make a comment that Charlotte Davis, current chair / president, has done a great job. The energy of the club, we've really grown. A lot of exciting things going on. We've done a lot of great projects. If you haven't come out and supported some of the service projects we've been, I'll invite you to be a part of what we're doing. The Out of the Garden project that we just were part of, I worked around with Steve and Peter, and that's very meaningful. The guy and look at your wife was there, Sherry was there, and just a great organization to be a part of, and I look forward to supporting that club, continue to support that club. It's an organization. So, Lisa asked me to speak. I said, what am I going to speak about? I mean, I'm a banker, been in Greensboro for a long time. She said, talk about yourself, your family, some of your passions, what you do. And I said, well, I could do that briefly. So as bankers, we all take notes. So bear with me as I kind of review some of my memos here. But my passion for Greensboro is my family moved from Rock Hill, South Carolina to Greensboro in 1969. I won't tell you how old it was, but I started first grade. So I started first grade at Little Guilford and ended up going to Western, and my parents moved to Cardinal. So I was the first class that got rezoned from Western Guilford to Northwest Guilford. So I was the preppy kid going after the country folks out there, and I got picked up, and it was fun. I had a great time. So I graduated from Northwest Guilford and went to UNC Charlotte. And graduated from UNC Charlotte, BA business degree, and I decided to come back to Greensboro. I had a job when I graduated in Charlotte, and I said, no, I think I'm going to come back to Greensboro. Sometimes I wonder why I did that. But Greensboro was my home, and my dad was building his insurance practice here. In 1984, he was one of the organizational members for Guilford Rotary. So as president, and I learned service above self from him. And he said, Rob, when you get out of college, join a civic club and don't just be a member. He goes, be active, get on the board, do something. So there was a long-time insurance executive. I learned from him, and that was kind of important. So I joined Nat Green Kiwanis out of college, and Cliff Moore, who was a manager, and I saw Chip, I think Chip Bell is on Zoom. And, Chip kind of introduced me to Cliff, and Cliff said, hey, come to this club. And I'm like, it was a 7:30 club Thursday mornings at Starmount. That Green Kiwanis was a young club. I'd visited a few clubs. When I went in there, some of the other clubs, everybody in there was sleeping. I said, I'm a young guy. I said, hey, retired people, I'm going to learn a lot from them someday. I don't want to sleep with them right now. So Nat Green Kiwanis was young, active, really neat civic club, and became a board member, worked with Debbie Kern and Debbie Linder, Milton Kern, a few other people, just kind of had a good crew there. So then I became a banker with First Citizens, and I was downtown, and somebody said, hey, why don't you look at the Greensboro Rotary Club? And I said, sure, be interested in doing that. Was invited to join that club, and I became Paul Harris Fellow through the Greensboro Rotary Club. And that's a big club. It's close to 300 members, I have about 120, 150 at eating lunch in there at the Terrace, and a lot of fun. Enjoyed that club. When I was with First Citizens, had an opportunity to kind of continue my banking career with Newbridge, so I moved over to a private banking role with Newbridge Bank, and that kind of moved me on the whole other side of town. We were domiciled off of New Garden, so I ended up kind of taking a look at some other clubs at that point in time, but
the opportunity, Chris Meadows and Charlotte, a few people said, hey, why don't you look at our satellite club, be a part of this club? And I said, I'm all in, let's do it. So I'm looking forward to the chair role and continuing to grow our club. And I'm excited about some of the service projects we've got. Con brought a speaker last Monday night. He's a Navy SEAL. If you get a chance to, I think Chip was there, a few other people, but he's got a passion. He's got 850 acres up around the Martinsville area that he takes vets and first responders that have PTSD and some other maybe issues or concerns. And he gets them out there and they get to accomplish some things, shoot deer, whatever they do, and helps build them back up. So we're going to continue to support them. I think we got a service project plan to go build some platforms to help the disabled. Excited about that. Will be looking for service projects to support. Sitting here going, hey, what do I have, or fundraisers to support? I'm looking for ideas, and Charlotte and our leadership team will continue to identify leaders inside of our satellite club to pick and think of, hey, what's important to service above self? What can Rotarians in our satellite club do? And then maybe bring it back to present to you guys as well. I had a speaker a couple weeks back, and it was, we'll talk about this as, with God and some of the leadership here, but I would like to support Pumpkin Patch. A lot of our things that we do tends to be the club and club member, and then we go and like out of the garden project or certain things that's just the club member. Maybe your big fundraiser, I think, is the Derby party, and some of the other fundraisers do sometimes, pig stock. I like to bring the families involved because I think the family is important too. We're all volunteering doing certain things, but we bring the family involved, show them service above self and what we do in the community. So the pumpkin patch may be a great idea to have the families help volunteer. So I've got a connection with the fundraising company there that does that. We can talk more about that offline, but that's one of the things I have a vision for. So kind of a couple of things about me that that I have personal passions for. My family, I have a son, a guy said, he's a legacy. He's at UNC Charlotte. He's a freshman. So we're kind of empty nesters now. My wife is from Greensboro as well. Her parents own a company here. She's been at Greensboro forever. Grew up here. She went to Appalachian State. We've been married for, she's not watching. 22 years.
We're recording that, Robert.
We're recording that. Okay. Really that far. No, happily married, and son's doing great. He went to campus in spring. He didn't go in the fall with COVID and Sweet Mace and all that. They decided to do virtual stuff. So it's been a little different this spring now. And I think 18 and a half years having there being part is different. I'm going to tell you right now, it's kind of strange. But so family, was a passion for me. And my mom is here. My father passed away a couple of years ago. She still lives in the Cardinal. My older brother, just retired from Lincoln Financial. He was here in Greensboro. And my older sister, she's in Ohio. She has 4 kids. And I went to UNC Charlotte because my brother-in-law, her husband was 6'9". He played basketball at Grimsley. He walked on at UNC Charlotte, and he was part of the '77 Final Four team that got cheated out of their loss to Marquette. When Marquette illegally took the ball, and then Charlotte should have won that game, and then they would have played Carolina in the finals and would have beat Carolina. It's pretty impressive that Marquette, Coach Lee, and Alma Byron had beaten Carolina at Field 14, which was a great team, but they were hurt. That's why Charlotte beat them. But so I was sitting at a basketball game years later. My fraternity brother was the head of director of the athletic foundation for UNC Charlotte. He said, "Come down here, I'm going to do this." He said, "Down here." I said, "Okay, great." So I started walking down, walked on down, walked all the way on the court. I'm underneath the basket. He goes, "These are Felix Sabatis' cities." And I said, "Well, he's probably going to show up." He goes, "No, he's good. He don't have God." So I said, "Okay." So I'm sitting beside this guy, and he's signing these autographs, and he's talking to people, and I'm sitting beside him. And every time I have somebody's walking over, I'm like, and it didn't place who he was. I'm sitting there shaking, realize who he was. Well, in fact, I did. Finally looked over and saw this big ring massive championship ring, Plover in it. I think it was number 5 on it. And I'm like, holy crap. So he's sitting there, and I do this, I elbow him. And he looked, hey man, what's up? And I said, that's from my brother-in-law. He said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you beat him up every practice. You know, Bruce told me about it. He goes, Bruce Stapleton? I said, yeah. He was Cornbread Maxwell's practice partner because he was 6'9". He was the only one who could handle Cornbread. And so we just started laughing and talking. He was the nicest guy. Cornbread was great. And we were watching the game. I said, who on the court is going to end up playing at the next level? And Charlotte had some good players, but it wasn't Charlotte. We were playing, I think, Alabama. And he said, that guy over there shooting. I said, Robert Ory. And he goes, yeah. And Robert Ory turned out to be a pretty doggone good pro. He won like 3 championships, 3 different teams. But Cornbread picked him out. I thought it was kind of cool. But other passion is so something people don't know about me. I actually have an ownership in a professional football team. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting, but a little money out there. So I'm a shareholder with the Green Bay Packers. So, I go to Lambeau Field once every couple of years, and get some kind of perks being a shareholder, but it's pretty neat. So that's so why are you a Green Bay Packers fan? Grew up in Greensboro, and I just love Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr, those 60s great Packers teams. A lot of pride. You work hard, and you can accomplish something. None of those guys were that good. They just were really pushed by a great coach and became really good, and they worked hard. And, so work ethic, all that was kind of important. So I'm a big Packers fan all my life. I heard a guy talk about the golf tournament. Other thing that I figured out after I was a tennis player growing up, taught tennis, loved tennis, got bored with tennis, came out, wanted to find something else, another passion. Before we had our son, I became a tournament golfer, got +3 handicap, played a couple of Cardinal Ams, played in some high-level CGA events.
There's our man.
There he is.
Turn around next to you.
Sounds like a volunteer to me right there.
Then I realized how hard golf was once we had our son and I wasn't playing at a competitive level. You go, wow, it's hard. And I asked my wife, it's okay if I started practicing again, playing a little bit. And Nicholas was junior, senior. He didn't care what Dad said. He was like, hey, I'm running around the car, you don't see him. And he played golf at Page, so it's kind of neat when you get to play. He played all 4 years and lettered all 4 years, so it's kind of cool. So he had a little bit of passion for it. Unbelievably talented, a lot better than I am, but he doesn't have a passion like I do for it in the competition. I love to compete. And so went back out, played in the CGA event. First time I played in a qualifier in years, and I qualified for the Carolinas Senior down at a golf course near Kiawah Island. It was the most beautiful golf course I ever played on. I did okay, did great, but it was fun just being back in the hunt. And then I played in the North Carolina CGA Senior qualifier over at Salem Glen. I hadn't played anything in about 6 months, and playing competitive golf is really hard, and especially a one-day qualifier where if you play well, you may qualify. If you play well, you might not. It's very disappointing. But if you have a bad hole or two, you're out and you're done. It's usually going to take 1 or 2 over par or under par. So I was pretty focused that day, played well. Came in, I was one of the last groups in. There was a guy standing there, said he was a medalist, he was getting ready to get all the trophy and get all the money at the clubhouse. And I said, what did that guy shoot? And he said, 1 over par. I said, okay. So I walked to the bathroom. I had the scorecard. I didn't turn in the CGA official yet. I said, I knew who that guy was. He was Mike Goodis' best friend. Mike Goodis is one of the top CGA amateurs forever. Then he qualified for the senior tour. And Mike Goodis from Maysville played in the senior tour for years. And he's a friend of mine, know him real well. That guy was one of his business partner, one of his really good friends. So I walked up to the CGA official and I said, tell Patrick Brady that I shot 1 under par. And he's not the medalist. And he went, oh my God. He said they didn't know who I was. I hadn't seen him in years. And so I got the medalist trophy and won some money clubhouse. And it was kind of neat going, hey, that was kind of one of my goals was to get to the next level. So you have to qualify for the North-South Senior invitation, which is on Pinehurst number 2. And my last bucket list for golf was to play a competitive round number 2. And so ended up, it's an invitation. We had to send in your resume. And all that good stuff. So I got invited to play on number 2, and I took my son down to County for me, and that was last year. And that might be my bucket list for golf tournament. So that was it. And so that's kind of my story when it comes to being competitive in golf. That was kind of one of my passions. So, but look forward to great leadership with the Sunset Club, and we're going to identify some really good leaders. We're going to grow. I'd like to get to 30. I think we're at 21 members now. I'd like to be at 30 here in the next 6 months. I think that's doable to grow, net 9 new members, and become a viable source for you guys to enjoy alternative. We're looking for potentially a new location. We're going to outgrow Cafe Pasta. It's a great spot. They've been good to us, but we've got some other options, and we'll continue to talk about that. That's it.
Any questions for Ryan?
So Rob, while you were growing up in the 70s here in Greensboro as a Green Bay Packer fan, I was growing up in the 70s here in Greensboro as a Minnesota Vikings fan. So we were equally displaced. But tell us a little more. There's got to be a story there about how you became a shareholder with the Packers.
Right. So there's a CPA here in town, and he does a bunch of professional athletes tax returns. And one of his clients is Adam Venturi, and we started talking about Adam, and he became our CPA. He's my father-in-law's company CPA and all that. So we got to be buddies with him. And one of my coaches, if he's still on the call, Michael Prince, was one of my co-workers at First Citizens. He was from Milwaukee. He was a huge Packers guy. And the city exec at the time, Chuck Burns, introduced us. And he goes, "Hey, you got this Packers guy." And I know Rob's a Packers fan. So we started all going to lunch together. We call it the La Bamba Lambo Luncheon. So we met over at La Bamba State Street, and the qualifiers where you have to be a Packers fan, you have to be a shareholder, and you have to have been to a game at Lambeau Field. So I qualified for 2 of them. I've been to a game that I wasn't a shareholder, so I got exempt. And so Paul, the CPA, brought one of his other buddies to the luncheon. We always had to say, here's the qualifiers. You can't just come to our lunch, because we talk Packers and draft and what games, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Weird guys like that football. And so he brought this guy, and he said, well, he actually played for the Packers for a couple of weeks. He's played on Lambeau Field, and so we'll give him an example because he's a pro football player. So it was Ethan Albright. So Ethan, long snapper for the Redskins, played in the league for 16 years. We got to be good buddies with Ethan, but he was actually on the practice team for the Packers, and he got kicked off the team, and we will hopefully it'll be totally recorded. But he brought mud into the practice field there at the Don Hudson Center, and Mike Holmgren, coach at the time, kicked off because it was a brand new field. He's like, "Why'd you bring mud in?" Kind of story. Ethan has a bunch of cool stories. He's a guy, just be a speaker for God. He's a good speaker. But so I ended up going to the game, and it's all my share, all the soccer there. So I got to do it because I got to get qualified to be official. Love the Packers.
Thank you, Rob. One last thing. So, did you buy any raffle tickets?
Ball, absolutely. I did. Ball tickets.
Anybody not buy raffle tickets?
I can do it.
All right. So, just as a general announcement for next week, we have $750 in the pot here. So, you pull the Queen of Hearts, you get $375. What's the number? Last 3.
Last 3 digits, 844. That's last year. I was gonna buy that.
844. Anybody have it? It has to be somebody here.
I do. I got 844.
Matthew's paying attention.
I got.
Oh, there you go.
Dale Parlay.
The CPA, yeah, right.
There are a lot of cards in here, so I got a feeling this pot's gonna get big, but we'll see. Not to jinx it.
Clean it up.
Oh, close. There it is.
Play of clubs.
Yes, still on there.
Shame. Be sure to clear.
All right, that's it. Meeting adjourned. Everybody have a great week.
Thank you.
You too, man. Y'all carrying those out?
Yeah, I used to think that was-